Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Untethered. Thanks for joining us today. We wanted to kick off today by coming to Spring Park here in Tuscumbia, Alabama. We looked at it online. It looked absolutely beautiful. It was about an hour's drive from our campground.
This park has a lot of cool things. It has a train, it has a roller coaster and a carousel, and it's really cute. Great place to come walk, enjoy a picnic. The main attraction, however,
is the waterfall. So proof positive, things aren't always as they seem online. Maybe we're here at the wrong time of the season. It looks like they have a fountain over there that we saw online too. It just looks like the water's really, really low. There's a level gauge over there and the water's not even to the bottom of it. So looks like we picked a bad time to come look at the waterfall. Look at this old chunk of wood. I see this a lot where people put petrified logs out in parks and random places. Not that it's a bad thing. This one is particularly interesting because it looks like someone tried to break in.
Or maybe that's how the log got there. It came from up there and hit the fence and they just left it inside.
And it just slid right through there and turned itself sideways?
Stranger things have happened. I like to think of things in a way that are fun for me.
This one's a petrified tree stump. It says it's 325 million years old. Funnily enough, nobody's tried to break into this one, but that one over there that's 50 to 90 million years old, somebody tried to steal. That's what I'm gonna do the next time we have a tree fall at our property. Instead of cutting it up and hauling it off, I'm just gonna build a fence around it, and generations from now, people will think it's super cool.
Tourist attraction. Yes.
Somebody got that stump.
This sounds like a case for Untethered.
I'm blaming the geese. There's an awful lot of shady looking geese around here. Maybe they all collectively got together and flew it out of here.
There are some other historical attractions here around town, but priority number one, we're gonna go eat.
Let's go eat.
Now that our bellies are full, we made a quick stop.
Full is an understatement. I just want to take a second so everybody can appreciate the chimichanga as much as me. That was a great chimichanga. Go ahead.
He got in the car and says, we need to take a moment and celebrate the chimichanga.
It's true.
And let's be honest, there's plenty of places that don't know how to cook a chimichanga.
I'm declaring it Chimichanga Day. You heard it here first. Everything else gets a day. Chimichangas need a day.
I think there is a chimichanga day. We'll find it. Anyways, back to what we were saying. There's a cabin. What was the history on this again?
Basically, this is Jackson's Military Road, and this used to be where the military bases would come through, and they had stagecoaches that could make the whole pass around the area in about 17 days and had some little stands where people could pick up mail and supplies and things like that on the military road. So that's kind of the significance of this spot.
Tuscumbia is also the birthplace of Helen Keller. We're gonna call this History Drive-By. It made us feel like we did something today, but we really do have some errands we need to run. So we're gonna keep driving, get our stuff done. I'm gonna try not to fall asleep.
I'm still just appreciating chimichangas over here, but you sure are making me sleepy.
We'll catch you guys back at camp. I'm trying to figure out why you have so much sand on your glasses.
I don't even think I wore those glasses to the beach. I really don't.
Then how do they have crusted sand on them? I just dirtied up my skirt for you. All right.
Turn left on the west.
You better love me.
I do.
Donkeys! Hello! We are here in Coleman, Alabama, at the Coleman Campground. I'm really liking this park. It's quiet. The sites are huge. They have this awesome walking trail out in the woods that surround the campground. And so we're just getting a little fresh air before Cody has to go back to work.
Beautiful.
We were looking for the trail, so we took it backwards because that's where we found the next trailhead. And we realized why they give you directions to go the other way. Because coming back, there's hills like this. It's too early for me to be this winded. So it's raining. It's been raining. It's gonna keep raining. So what do we do on this gloomy day? Well, I've been doing a little bit of trip planning for our next little round. I keep getting the question, how do you plan? What do you use? And I've really stayed away from the subject since we all travel so different, and I really didn't want to get into the weeds too far, but I think I can break it down for you. And hopefully it's helpful, or you can point your finger and laugh at me. But at this point, I'm dug into my process and I'm not changing it. But I'm gonna share it. I'm going to break this down into 4 steps. 1, what's your destination, your goal? So to start, I built a spreadsheet with 52 lines for the 52 weeks in the year, and I put in those weeks of where we absolutely wanted to be for the year. This helped me determine how much time I have in between each of those must-do stops. Step 2, how long do you want to spend at any one location? How quick you travel can determine your cost, fuel cost, and maybe you're not taking advantage of those weekly and monthly discounts that campgrounds offer that help your budget. I know that we like to move about every week with the occasional 2-week stop in there for just a little breather. From here, I start looking at a map and I determine point A to point B, what's in between, and what state options are available between those 2 points. This allows me to determine how much time I have between them, how many states that I have, and build a very soft route plan. This year, for example, we knew that we were going to be in Arkansas for Christmas, in Hot Springs with our friends for New Year's. I also knew that I had follow-up dentist appointments later in January, but we didn't want to sit for 3 to 4 weeks at a time. So our plan was make a short loop, get out, explore a little bit, take care of our dental obligations, and then head out for a longer stretch of time and head somewhere warm. Ultimately, our end goal was to go to Lexington, Kentucky to meet Isaac, and then Arkansas for the eclipse. Everything in between was open canvas. How I find those gems to go seek out. I start with Pinterest. While we're traveling, maybe while we're watching a rerun show, I like to browse and look at destinations and find those little gems and say, where is this? And I put it and I save it for later. A lot of times when you're doing a Google search, not that that's bad, but a lot of times those are paid ads to be at the top of the list. And sometimes they're more touristy, and we like those quieter, small things sometimes. Here's where I get into the weeds just a little bit, so bear with me here. These places that I find that I just can't miss, they go into a spreadsheet, and they're broken down by state, city, region. I do this so that I can consolidate it into one area with all of the suggestions that you guys give us. It also allows me to sort by state and by area. So if I know that I'm going into Alabama and I'll need to determine which part of Alabama would we like to hit, which would be the best for our travels. Maybe I just break it down to the Northwest region and see what's out there. That way, we're getting the biggest bang for our buck on our sites. I know there's programs out there that do a lot of this stuff for you. So if you find something that you like, go for it. I have no sponsored programs or apps that I use. As for the booking of the campgrounds, I'm not going to get into the weeds. I have been using TripWizard for campground reviews. I like the review portion. I like the app, not the web version. But I do some searching there. I also will look for state parks in the area and kind of determine what the best fit is for us. Okay, this one's turning back to you guys. Question time! What do you use when you're searching for campgrounds? What apps? What process? And I had a campground ask me this question and I thought it was a good one. Do you pass over a campground that does not allow you to book online? If you have to call them, does that deter you? It's a valid question. In the beginning of our travels, this whole process was so intimidating and so scary that anything we could do to simplify it, we did it, which meant we only did easy booking, even if it meant that it was 3 times higher than another place. We don't do that so much anymore because the process doesn't really panic us anymore. But I'm curious. Let me know. I did want to share, and hopefully he doesn't care that I share. We met Jeffrey and Tanya the other day, which we enjoyed. But he shared that his planning process is through Google Maps. They part-time and they take specific trips, and so maybe he can categorize down to our winter trip. I'm going to make sure that we hit this one location. And Google allows you to pin a place on your map and put it into a specific category. So I thought that was a fantastic idea. That's something that you may look at and see if that works for you. Maybe it's an easier application than my process. Okay, that's it. That's the nitty-gritty of it. I'm hungry. Cody's gonna be off work here in just a little bit. We're gonna settle in for tonight on this icky night, snuggle up, watch some movies, get our bellies full. We'll see you guys in the morning to do something that I enjoy as a little pastime, and I want you guys there to enjoy it too. As promised, we're going to start this day off with a little fun, or what we consider fun. We talked about reviews a little bit. I had some concerns about this particular campground because there were some not so nice reviews. And we've kind of shown that in the past where there were some questionable, but nothing blinding. Or maybe we made a phone call and asked the campground, hey, is this true or is this a problem?
And you have done that where you've called campgrounds and asked about something you saw in a review. And a lot of times people are just nasty and they just kind of fly off the handle in the comments or the reviews. Well, most of the reviews are actually really helpful. Most people. And I know none of you guys are doing reviews like what we're going to read. But I think they're funny. And like I've said before, I do a lot of things according to what I think is funny. So we're going to read some reviews and hope you enjoy. You want to read the first one? This is a 1-star review. Nothing to do and boring waste of a trip. I think this is a good example, a funny example of where the reviews aren't everything. It's not the campground's fault that they couldn't find anything to do in the area, but if somebody doesn't want to go somewhere for the purpose of hiking and being outdoors and they want to say be close to a city, you can't blame the campground for that. I also found one in Kansas, which you can imagine, that said it was way too windy. I mean, it's kind of windy here today. I guess the campground turned their wind machine on. 1 star. We didn't really appreciate riding over the numerous speed bumps in the park with the motorcycles. 2 stars. Here's a great one. This is 2.5 stars. Now, they do compliment the staff that they were friendly and they had good amenities here, which is nice. At least they did that. There were a lot of pine cones, needles, and leaves. Large number of noisy, inconsiderate motorcycles coming and going constantly. Now this one's valid. I just thought it was funny, so I included it. 1/2 star. I didn't know you could even do that. I didn't either. Smelled like urine. Oh. I think that's valid. Oh my lord. I don't want to stay in a place that smells like urine either. But was that the bathhouse that smelled like urine? Was it the entire park? What?
It sounds like the whole park smells like urine.
If you're gonna write a bad review, give some context. What smelled like urine?
Now this one isn't invalid. It's 1 star. I believe this one was on a pretty fancy, high-priced resort area. But he said that there was a neighbor that let their dog bark for 22 hours during the day. Well, that's frustrating.
Sure.
That's valid.
Absolutely.
But the review goes on to say, I complained to management and asked for a full refund, and they said no.
This is not invalid, but I don't know that it's the fault of the campground. Bad neighborhood, nothing to do in the park itself or the area.
It's still a helpful review because it makes you stop and go look at some other reviews. Oh, this one's great.
This is the best one.
I'll let you take this one.
This is the MVP so far of everything we've read. I haven't been here.
1 star.
What in the world?
Why?
What in the world?
Why did you go do that?
So, full disclosure, I don't write reviews on every place I go. Generally, I write it in places where I get awesome service or really terrible service, and I don't do much for the in-between, but never written a review on any place that I haven't been. I guess this person needs a hobby. I don't know.
Yes.
This one may rival the last one I just read. Still looking for a place to bring RV to, 3 stars. And this person's written 335 total reviews. I kind of want to read the rest of them.
Okay, this one's pretty good. I can see someone thinking this is funny. 5 stars. It's family. I have to give it 5 stars. LOL. Nice. That's all I have for today. Those are just a few that I grabbed as I have been doing some research. I thought they were comical. I hope you guys enjoyed as well.
I do want to mention one thing you mentioned earlier on in the video when I was still working. You asked the audience if not being able to book online was deterrent. And back before I started working again and I had more free time and did most of our planning, I will say I'm one of those people, at least back then, if I had to call, I'm probably not going there. I glazed over a lot of what looked like decent to really good campgrounds. It was just the lazy factor. It's 2024. We want to be able to click and book and be done, and that's my opinion. So let us know in the comments what you think about calling to book versus online booking, and do they get a preference?
But the question came up because a campground specifically asked me that. What do you guys think? Well, our opinion doesn't necessarily matter, and it has changed, obviously, since we talked about it. But as a campground, they're thinking, is it worth the expense? Because I'm sure the online programs are outrageous. So they're trying to decide, okay, is this worth going for, or would you guys rather maybe a little cheaper rate and not have that option?
A lot of these places have websites, really good ones. Might as well go ahead and put the book it now button in.
I don't know what it costs to do it.
You guys settled the score for us. Check out Billy the goat. Hey Billy.
Hey Billy.
Look at him. He's excited to see us.
I didn't even know they had goats back here.
And chickens.
Look at their little playground.
For the goats? That's cool.
Hey baby. Hello. Hi, I don't have any food.
Hey there, Billy.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, Billy. It's Billy the goat.
Here she goes.
Aw, kisses.
Think you got food?
He's going to eat my hand, watch him. Oh, don't bite me. The little one bites.
He's looking for food.
Like we don't perform without food.
I'm not your puppet. I don't have any food, but oh, he likes scratching.
He's biting a little more aggressively, so
okay.
be cautious.
Oh. Yeah, he's warning me.
It's like, you see these horns are going to go somewhere you don't like if you keep messing with me. It's like, please let me bite you. Please let me bite you. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it.
Get your steps right, Billy.
Hey y'all, I want to give you a quick update on Starlink. I know I haven't talked about it in a while, and I know early on in our adventures we had some issues with it. I couldn't tell you the last time I had to use a mobile hotspot unless it's in the truck or something like that. It's been doing great. However, I did download an update here a while back, and it seems like it made it even better. Used to, if we had any kind of trees in our line of sight, we would just get horrible signal and it would blip out constantly. But after this update, it seems like it can actually tolerate some trees now. So let us know in the comments if you've updated your Starlink recently and had increased performance, or maybe it's just all in my head.
It may be all in your head. It's gonna rain us out for at least a day, maybe more. So we're gonna go get a bike ride in and enjoy some sunshine while we can.
Yep, those things have sat idle for too long. Since we're out on a bike ride, the thought occurred to me, we get a lot of comments about what bike rack we use with our RV. We went with the Swagman bike rack. It is e-bike rated, and that's something really important you guys need to take into consideration is the weight of your bikes. We have the LECTRIC XP lights. They weigh around 60 pounds. Some of the larger bikes can weigh 80 pounds or more, and that all can help dictate what bike rack you need to get. We went to a bike shop in Elkhart, Indiana that took great care of us, that walked us through all this stuff because I sure didn't know it. The back end of your RV catches more up and down bounce than anywhere else, and with those heavy bikes on the back, especially these bigger e-bikes, you don't want to have that thing breaking on you going down the road. So we have a link in the description, and it's also on our Amazon page for our bike rack if you guys want to check it out, or maybe it'll point you in the direction of something that works better for you. So talking about the Swagman bike rack, a lot of people have asked questions about it. I was just gonna go through real quick how the rack functions. So this one holds 2 bikes. Everything's nice and adjustable. I'm not gonna mess with it because I kind of have it right where I want it, but you can slide these wheel trays back and forth just by loosening this off and sliding it. What I like about it is when you get to camp, if it's in the way or maybe you're in a small or a really tight site, we can pull this pin out and just raise it up out of the way, which makes it really nice. If I'm cleaning the back of the rig, I can get it up here. I can use my ladder. I'm not at any kind of a weird angle. I don't do this a lot, but I do like the feature. I try to make sure to squirt it with a little WD-40 every now and again just to keep things flowing. When you're ready to travel, we put this pin back in and we're ready to go. Now, admittedly, early on, I made a few mistakes here. I've had bikes forever and I love to bike. This is my first bike rack that I've ever owned. The electric bike pedals fold shut when you're traveling. I forgot to do that and really messed up the side of Angela's bike where those pedals are rubbing against the paint. The other thing I was doing, and you really can't even see it unless you look close, but right here, there's a marred spot on the back of our RV, and that's from the handlebars. The handlebars were bumping the trailer going down the road right here. So now before I get ready to go, I go ahead and fold her handlebars down and I set the bike on just like this. So that takes out the need to worry about the handlebars bumping up against the trailer. From here it's pretty cut and dry. We pull this bar up in the center. So for my bike, I mount it the opposite direction. On ours, remember, the longer bar goes on first. So I just go take this smaller one off that I had on as a keeper. Lock this one in. This does have a place where you can lock this shut to where you can't raise the bars. So you've got a lock right here, and you've got a lock on this one down here. And that's just to keep people from removing those bars and taking your bikes when you're stopped for fuel or for an overnight somewhere. Usually the other thing I do is I'll take a cable lock and wrap it through both the bikes and around the rack. Just one more sense of security. Hey, if people want to steal your stuff, they're going to find a way to get it. But we do have a pin lock on the rack itself so it can't get stolen. And we double lock the bikes. This does pretty good. These bars have not marred up our bikes at all. Any damage we've taken to the bike in transit has been my fault because I either didn't fold in the foot pedals or I left the handlebars extended when I shouldn't have. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Again, we'll put a link to this rack in the description. Double check your weights and things like that. If this isn't the rack for you, maybe Amazon will point you in the direction of the perfect rack to fit your needs. If you have electric bikes and you've done the same thing we've done, they do sell touch-up paint. Just reach out to customer service. They'll get you fixed up with an order of touch-up paint. That's on our procrastination list too, but we've got some touch-up to do on both bikes because of things I didn't think about. Hopefully this helps you guys avoid having the same problem.
We've met some really amazing people. Some we've mentioned. We met Kim and Lynn last night, just the sweetest people. Norma and Wayne, who made us this amazing sign.
We never expected things like this when we came out here on the road. We started this channel just for a way for our families to keep up with us, but we've met so many incredible people at rallies and things like that, and just the people we meet on the road and stuff like this. This means the world to us. Thank you guys again so much. This is going to be a 30-minute show where only Ange talks. It's not working for me.
It's a nice looking ass.
Well, hey y'all, and welcome back to Untethered. I want to give you guys, that's not right.
Why are you opening?
I don't know. Your mic's hot, remember. It's been doing great. I couldn't tell you the last time I had to go to a mobile hotspot unless I was driving down the highway with Ange and working on the computer at the same time. That sounds horrible. I couldn't tell you that.
Just do your thing.
You're killing me.
You're killing me.
This one may rival the rest